Welcome to the Sips and Smut podcast, where taboo is the topic and the tea is hot. I'm Maddie,
I'm Jordan.
and today we have author Bree Granado with us. Welcome, Bree.
Hey, thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. So, tell us a little bit about yourself as an author, and then about your book.
Sure. Well, like you said, my name is Bree Granado and I live in Texas. I have one book out right now in the Shattered Realm series. It's been out almost a year now. Yes, there it is. There it is. It's been out almost a year. March 24th will be a year since my debut. And so that's really exciting. Thank you. It's been a wild ride. I can't believe it's already been a year. Um, I've met amazing people on the way, including you guys, made friends that I never could have imagined making friends with. And it's been an incredible journey. Book number one, A Fate of Shadows and Flames, is a dark fantasy romance that follows a human girl named Aria, whose parents were murdered when she was an infant in the human world. She gets rescued by King Pyros, the king of the Court of Flames, who is a Fae king, and he brings her back as a baby and raises her as a princess among the Fae in his court. On her 21st birthday, a war breaks out between her court, the Court of Flames, and the neighboring court, the Court of Shadows. And cue our shadow daddy, Harlequin. So
Love him.
Harlequin catches a glimpse of Aria, finds out about this human girl, and he was like, that right there is what I need. She is going to change the tides of this war for me. So he swoops in on her birthday, very Harlequin style, kidnaps her, takes her back to his realm, and then that's kind of where everything takes off. He's trying to use her as leverage against Pyros, but he quickly begins to realize that there's so much more to Arya than he bargained for. She has a lot of bark. She has a lot of bite. And it honestly really pisses him off. It takes a while for them to really um, start to trust each other or anything like that. And then while Arya is there, she discovers that what she's been told about her past and about her human origins is not true. And so she starts going on this journey of self-discovery with help from Harlequin.
But now, I have to tell you, and I want to put this at the beginning of the podcast because I think it's important. If you've not read it, go read it. Um, Jordan and I, the entire time, we binged this book in a day. This is easily my favorite romantasy I've read.
My
Like,
God,
it is
really?
so good. And we've read so many, like,
Yes.
the popular ones and everything. I freaking love this so much. We have been so excited to have you on here just because it's
Thank
like,
you.
we had so
We
much fun
also
with this book.
we listened to the audiobook too because we multitask, work,
Yeah.
listen, do all the things, and it is the narrators did a great job. It was so good. And so she started before I could. I was trying to read it, and then she's like, "You gotta listen to audiobooks." Like, sold. So I went got the audiobook, listened to it. Fantastic. So if you guys, if you're busy, like moms, like we all are here, uh, audiobook. It's very, very good. Give that a listen.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I was really proud of my voice actors, William Madison and Juniper West. William has an incredible talent to where he does all of the male voices, right? He does all of it. And if I
Mm-hmm.
did not know for a fact that he was the person I hired, like, I was just listening into this book, I would think it was different actors because he just does such a good job of changing his voice up. And Juniper too, she does an amazing job. She has such a soft voice that is so strong when it needs to be, and I was so proud of her. And the audiobook was a lot of fun because it has the bonus chapters and bonus scenes in it that the physical copy doesn't have that are spicy, including chapter 27, which was from his point of view. And it was a lot of fun to get that going. And I actually got to watch them record chapter 27. We did a disco call and the three of us were in Windows. And once once he started reading, um, Juniper and I, we were like, you could see us kind of
Yeah.
like starting to shrink a little bit in our windows and our cheeks were turning bright. And William kept reading, and there was no he would not make eye contact. He was just focused on the book, and none of us could look at each other. And then after a minute, we were like, boop, 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 and each camera turned off. We just couldn't stay on screen anymore because it was so intense and so spicy, and he was doing such a good job. I was literally like the whole time. It was
Thank you.
so good.
One of the
I
things
don't
I
think I
liked
could have
about
been chill
them,
at all either.
I
I
could
couldn't do
not have
that.
been chill. But they have Aria and Harlequin have such great chemistry in the book, and the narrators did a really good job of bringing that chemistry to
They did.
life in the audiobook. So I kind of did a combination of both, and I like to do that. So I just think you pick up different things from different like mediums, whether it's an audiobook or the print version.
Sure.
Um, God, this whole book, I mean, you really can't go wrong either way. Read it, listen to it. I highly recommend doing both. But yeah, easy 5 stars. Definitely my favorite romantasy that I've
Thank you
read.
so much. Thank
Yeah.
you. Shoo. Sorry.
No, you're
No,
good.
we're moms,
What
we get it.
we are. Yep. So what inspired you to begin writing, and how did it become more than a hobby? How did this book come about?
So I've always loved writing, and I knew one day I wanted to write a book, but life happens, you have kids, you get married, you do all the things, and sometimes those dreams just get put on another shelf for a little while. And I had actually started writing, and I was writing a kind of thriller horror romance. It was kind of a zombie apocalypse romance. And I'm still going to pick that
Ooh.
back up because I miss it so much. But I just didn't expect A Fate of Shadows and Flames to take off so well. So that's been like kind of my focus. But I've got to get back to the other book because I miss the characters, and it really is a fun, good, like scary story. Um, but I started writing that, and then I picked up ACOTAR, and everybody was talking about it, right?
Yeah.
And so my friends were like, "You've gotta read this, or you've gotta listen to it." And so I read the first one, and I was like, "This is really good." Like, I really enjoyed this story, and then I got into the series, and once I finished it, I was like, "Okay, I need more of this in my life." Like, this was something I was missing that I didn't realize I was missing. I was like, "I wanna find more fae human romance, something that's, like, got me on the edge of my seat." So I started reading some other books that, but kind of followed that romantic fae line, but they all felt like the same. They were different enough to enjoy, but it was like, "Oh, she's 17 and she's got a reason that she has to go over here. Either, daddy made a bad deal, or I'm going to be in an arranged marriage," or like it was all like the same story. And so I was like, "Okay, these are great, but I want to do something different. And I'm just going to write what I want to read." And so that's what I started doing. So I created Aria, and I'm like, okay, let's change this up a little and start by making her of legal age. Like, that's a fun start. And so I made her 21 like, instead of keeping her as
I
the
feel like that's
17-year-old.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's
Legal
in
is
love with a
important.
5,000-year-old man. And so, and then the next thing I
Aren't
wanted
we
to
all?
do, well, yeah, I think we are.
I
I
think
think
we
we
are.
are. I think it's an acceptable age gap.
I
Um,
agree.
and so then I was like, okay, I want her to already be there. I don't want this to be another arranged marriage forced there. She's forced there in a way, but she's a baby, right? So she doesn't know. And so I have her raised there. It's the only life she knows. She's not familiar with the human world. She doesn't remember the human world. She doesn't remember her parents. She never got to be a part of it. So the Fey world is all she's ever known. But because she's human and she's not really supposed to be there, she's struggling to belong, right? She doesn't get along well
Yeah.
with the Fae. She has Niall, her best friend. He's like her advocate, supporter, golden retriever, best friend, totally in love with her. But it's just one person in an entire world. And so she just feels so alone and lost and doesn't know what to do. Um, and that just was kind of where the motivation started. I wanted to write something that I knew I wanted to read and that I hoped other people would enjoy.
I love that. And I love the um the aspect of her feeling alone, because I think it's something that we can all relate to at different points in our lives where you're like,
Mhm.
as you said, life goes on, you do the things, and sometimes you wake up one day and you're like, "Am I doing the right thing? Like, am I in the right place? Like,
Exactly.
what's going on here?" And I kind of felt that with her to a degree where she's been in this, but she doesn't necessarily like fit in
Mhm.
anywhere. And I think that's a very, very relatable character trait.
Yes, absolutely.
I agree. I've said my fair share of that where I've woken up like, "What am I doing? What are we doing?" And deciding to make that pivot. I really there were so many points in this book, I don't wanna give too much away where I was like, I feel seen here. I feel very seen. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed this book as well, like as Maddie said. In general, with this fantasy and world building, how hard was it to get the characters to come to life? Because I know it was once like you said, you wanted something different. You had Aria, you had Harlequin. How was it to build the other characters and to create them? Was it easy? What did it become difficult? Did you have to stop a little bit and be like, okay, I need to figure this out?
Yeah, so the copy that y'all have was my ninth draft.
Gosh.
So it took me a while. It didn't take me a while in the sense that it was a long time to write it, but it did take me a while to get it where I wanted it to be, right? And world building, here's the thing about world building for me. When I'm reading world building, I appreciate enough detail to where I can get an image in my head, but then my imagination can take over and take care of the rest of that, right? You've given me some important points, but now I have an image in my head that can go along with it. Some books, like I've skipped pages because there was so much world building that I was like, okay, I get it. I'm like, we're in a fantasy world. Like I can do this part for you. Thank you. And it didn't make it a bad story. It just made it kind of draw on. And so I was trying to walk that line in between those two places where I give enough details for the reader to understand where they are. This is not our typical Earth, right? We're not in Cincinnati or Chicago or something like that. But I didn't want to over describe to where I had 2 pages describing just one element of the book and one place in the book where it kind of starts to lose readers too because it draws on. And then as far as the character development, when I first started writing, my key characters were Niall, Aria, Pyros, and Quinn. And the filler
Okay.
characters, I had no idea what I was going to do. I had no idea who they were going to be. And I'm a pantser. Like I'll line things out and kind of have a direction that I want to go. But then when I start writing, I'm like, ooh, this is better. Or, ooh, this is better. Or, ooh, I like this. And I let the characters take over. Like it gets a little wild sometimes, and I have to be like, oh, okay, whoa, Harlequin. Like sit down for a second. Like that's a little wild, sir. Um, and so as far as developing the rest of the characters and their stories, it just kind of grew naturally. It was very organic. They weren't necessarily characters I had in my head. Lyris is another amazing character that I love, and that's Quinn's sister. And I like I wanted her to kind of be a balance to Quinn's harshness, right? She's tough. She's a total badass. She tells it like it is, but she's also a girl's girl, right? She is there for Aria. She is fun. She's quirky, no holds bar. Like she is comfortable in her skin. And I think Aria needed that because I didn't have any girlfriends. I didn't think, because I always grew up being friends with guys because it was just easier for me.
Same. Same.
Same.
And like girls were like, they just seemed to be cattier and it's like, or they'd be nice to your face one minute, talk about you behind your back. With guys, it wasn't. They were just like, oh, hey, what's up? Let's, we're friends, blah, blah. And it was chill. And so I had mostly males in the book. And so I had a friend read, the first couple of drafts and they were like, you need some more ladies in this book. Like you've got to put more ladies in the book. And so that's what I did. That's how I ended up creating Lyris and how I ended up creating Shayla, who are two very important characters in Aria's life. And as far as male characters, like y'all probably remember Gardevoir, and I'm not gonna say much about Gardevoir because I don't wanna ruin anything. He ended up being such a small part, but such a key part in the story, um, that his scene affected people in ways that I did not see coming. Like, there were people messaging me about what happens with Gardevoir. And so that character development just happened organically, and I don't know, it's hard to put into words because they were not planned characters. They just kind of happened. But I knew that they needed to be there. I knew I needed more of that in there. And that's where a lot of that came from.
That's really
So the
cool.
To touch on that point that you said about imagery, so I can see in my head whenever I read, so I get what you're saying about that, but Maddie can't do that. She can't visualize as well. So
Mhm.
she usually needs like art or something like that to kind of help with the visualization. So but I understood what you were saying. Like there's a lot of most fantasies, there's an excessive amount of detail, which is nothing's wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong with that.
Mhm.
But for someone that can imagine it and I could see it visually in my head, I've already formed it, and then sometimes reading something, I was like, "Wait, so does it look like this?" Kind of throws you off.
Yeah.
You gotta kind of have to
Yeah.
reset what you're imagining.
Yeah.
So for me, I could yeah, I did I'm with you on that where it's like, "Okay, just give me some cliff notes, some highlights, and then we can move on." And I'm like, "All right,
I
I got it.
actually
I got it in my
liked
head."
that. Yeah, I liked that a lot in this book because I think, like we all have said, there's a tendency in world building and romantasy books to go really heavy on the details and describing. Um, and because you don't do that as heavily, I think the story really shines forward and the character development really shines forward. And that is a really nice aspect of it. So, like, one of the things that Jordan and I had talked about was how Arya is this, this force to be reckoned with, and she's dealt with these hardships. She's lost her parents. She's
Mhm.
raised by Pyros, and then, finds out that maybe what she thought isn't necessarily true. So she's going through all of this, and you know, having that take the center stage is really powerful. Now, how did you write Arya? What was the inspiration for her?
Aria came to my mind. I don't know what triggered her, honestly, and I just knew that I wanted this character. I wanted a female lead, and I wanted a character that was going to grow organically. Like, you were going to see her becoming stronger and more confident and more comfortable with herself as time went on. And as I was writing it, I'm looking at this story and I'm like, "A lot of these things sound familiar." And I thought maybe I was writing a book that I had already read. Like, I was so concerned about that. I'm like, "Did I read this? Like, why does it sound familiar?" And not in the sense of like everything that was actually happening in the story, but in the sense of who Arya was. And then I realized I was kind of writing my own story. I was writing me as Arya, and that was a really heavy moment for me because I didn't know I was doing it until it finally clicked. So, when I was little, I was 3, barely 3, and my dad died. He was 37. He had a massive heart attack, and I I was little, but I still remember a lot of it. Like, I remember the phone call, I remember all the things. And then, my mother, beautiful soul, wonderful person, took it very, very hard, obviously. And so she and me and my brother went to go live with my grandparents, her parents. And then eventually things get even harder. And my grandparents end up raising me and my brother. And then the found family aspect of it, when I was 14, I found out that by accident, that my stepdad, or that my dad was my stepdad, and that my real dad was actually very much alive. And
Wow.
so, yeah, so that was kind of heavy, and then I end up meeting him, and he's amazing, and we're so close today now. Um, but as I'm writing Aria, I'm like, "Okay, she's losing family. She doesn't feel like she belongs." I felt so lost when I was growing up, right? I didn't have my parents. I had my grandparents who did a wonderful job raising us, and I loved them, but I just didn't quite fit in. Something didn't feel right. I wasn't getting along with people. I had very, very few select friends that I could talk to and be comfortable with. Um, like I could get along with people if I had to, but it just wasn't, there was no true depth or anything like that in those friendships. And so then Aria goes on to discover some things, and I realized I had discovered some things, right? And then I started to grow, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm writing about me." And so that's kind of where Aria came from, just subconsciously. I didn't know I was doing it. It wasn't intentional, but that was where Aria came from.
That's really cool. Was that kinda cathartic when you came to that realization?
It was. I honestly felt a lot of like heaviness that I didn't realize I still had come off onto the paper. And it became lighter and lighter as I was writing it. It doesn't mean it's, like, completely healed me because we all have things that we still,
Yeah.
like, look back on or, like, ugh, about, but it did help significantly. I'm sorry. Love you. Anyway, so that's kind of, yeah, it did help me a lot. It did.
That's so cool. I think, you know, I can relate to that a lot, like, having trauma in your childhood. It's hard, I think, to find your place in adolescence and, like, as a young kid, having gone through that where so many other people can't relate to that and don't understand, like, that aspect and that dynamic, and as you get older, you meet people that you're like, "Oh, you get it, okay," and then
Yeah,
you find this found family, and you form these, like, really incredible bonds with people over, like, shared traumas and things like that.
for sure.
Yeah, it's really
or
cool
books.
to kinda hear that. Or
Or
books,
books.
yeah, right?
So what
Absolutely.
I yeah, I agree with that. One of the things there is I think with for you with writing and even reading, I find that it's also very healing because there's a lot of stuff that's explored in books in general that I find that helps people help sort through their trauma. And for
For
me,
sure.
I've talked to a lot of people that have read different kinds of books, and some of them you're kind of like, wow, that's a really dark book, but it also healed something in them a little bit too because they were able to explore it safely because it's a way to
Mhm.
explore something that was a very dark period in their time, like in their life, and they're able to explore it and not even realize it until later. They're like, why do I feel better after reading this book? Why do I have changed? And I find that this it's interesting. That's also the same aspect for authors who are writing. It's also cathartic that way.
Mhm. And then in this community, in the book community, you find other people who feel the same way, and you can be comfortable talking to them about that trauma, like because they're
Mhm.
relating to you, they get it, they've read it, they've experienced it. And I think that's been the most beautiful part is the people in this community, for example, rewritten the way they came together and just
Mhm.
put together the most amazing event that I have been to since I started this in 10 days. They did it in 10 days, like honestly.
They did a
And
Crazy.
phenomenal
so
job.
oh, it was incredible. It was incredible. And so that's the type of community this is, the author community, the book community, the reading community, the podcast community, the narrator, like everybody is just so genuine. That doesn't mean there aren't going to be bad eggs. I just have not met very many of them yet. So,
Yeah. I think it's a safe place. It's people that have kind of felt out of place their whole life and find themselves relating to books or relating to, the people that you meet, and it becomes this, like, safe community
for
where
sure.
you can explore really whatever you want. You can be who you are, and people are just like, "Yes, that's exactly what you should be doing." And
Mhm.
it's a really fun thing to see. We were talking about this yesterday, just how, like, pre-COVID, we really didn't have we didn't have book talk, bookstagram, we didn't have these types of events. You weren't talking about authors as outwardly as we do now, and it's so fun. There's, like, there really is a blur in lines between, like, authors, narrators, and the people that are reading the books, and it's so fun to
Mhm.
see how everybody comes together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've had some things going on in my life that I don't know that I would have been able to get through as easily. Like, I know I would have survived it, if it wasn't for the friends that I've made. And shout out to Debbie, Alexiana, Danny Starro, Rob Moretta, Henry Kramer, William Madison, Jennifer, like all they're amazing. Kristen, didn't forget you either, girl. They are amazing people, and I met them because of this. And they have been my pillars. They have been my pillars in the last few months and have been there for some very dark moments. And I'm trying to not get emotional, but I'm so, so beyond grateful for all of them.
Understand that so much. Like, I don't know, finding your people is such a life altering thing. Like I moved to New Hampshire from Indianapolis and we knew nobody here, and my best friend and I both made the very, very uncharacteristic choice to join Bumble for Friends. And she and I met at a coffee shop and then we both deleted it. We were like, nope, you're cool. We're good. I've
Job
found the
is done.
friend. Job is done. And it's kind of similar, I think, with the book community. You meet so many people, and the one of my favorite things about the community is how genuine most people are. Like, everybody wants to know who you are as a person, like the real you. What are you into? There's a place for you here. Whether or not we enjoy the same types of reading, that doesn't matter. We're connected by books, and there is a place for you in this community, wherever that is. And I
Yeah,
just love that.
absolutely. Absolutely. There is literally a place for everyone because there's so many different tropes and there's so many different genres and there's so many different things that you can connect on that unless you just don't like reading, you are going to find a place to fit.
Well, I told my husband, because my husband is not a big reader, and I am a firm believer that if you don't like reading, you are not reading the right stuff.
Absolutely.
Correct. I agree
Get
with
out of
that
your
too.
comfort
Yeah.
zone. Go read the things that are actually going to like be enjoyable to you. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be the most unhinged thing in the world. We've probably read it. Fantasy. Fae are not real. Would we all like them to be real? Hell yeah. Please. Where's my shadow daddy? He can
Yeah.
show up. I'll give him my address. You show up right here. You tell me what time I'll be ready. But like, it's
Just
fun.
indie like we'll just like just try indie authors in general because that's something we've been really experiencing here lately, reading all these
Yeah.
different books after I met so many authors and I have like a stack of books I'm mailing Maddie. And being like, there's so many great different stories that aren't being talked about enough. Just take the time to
Yeah.
just pick up a book. Doesn't have to be a traditionally published book. There's so many great stories out there that people are missing out on that they need to check out. Like this is a great example of that. This is a fantastic story that people need to know about the story. And it's just frustrating because it's like we're real
How
big
many
on
times did I
hyping
text
people.
you
It's like we're
that
just like,
when
yeah,
reading
you're
this?
you,
I was like,
you did.
Jordan.
Like, you Teams me, you text me, you
I
Facebook
did.
me. Like, there was a lot of multiple
I almost sent up
communications.
smoke signals.
We were but it was this book along with other books that we were like, "Why is no one reading these books? We don't understand. They're so good."
Like,
So
this
that's like
needs to be
yeah.
on a main display table. Like, when I walk into a
Mhm.
Barnes and Nobles, why is this not right there?
Oh,
Like,
Yes.
thank you.
more people need this.
They really do. They really, really do. Um, okay. Well, one of the things that we wanted to talk about was we kind of put all over the place here, is
Yeah, sorry.
no, you're good.
No, it's a
That's
talent that we have.
yeah, we call it an unhinged sparkle, if you will. So we're just kind of unhinged
Oh, I
Yeah.
sparkling
like
over here.
that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Uh, so one of the things that we really enjoyed is the banter between Aria and Harlequin. How fun was that
Mhm.
for you to write? Is that something that came easy? Like, were they just like that in your head, just kind of just going at each other, or did
That
it take a little
actually
bit?
it surprisingly did come very easy, actually, because I love banter in a story. Like, I love
Mhm.
them to get
Same.
sassy and snappy and just get that tension and that just, where you just wanna kiss him and punch him at the same time kinda thing. And so
Yeah.
the banter was probably my favorite thing to write in this, and not just between him And Aria, I actually love the banter between Niall and Quinn as well, too.
Mhm.
That was something I had a lot of fun with. Um, and I knew I wanted them to be I wanted there to be a lot of wit between them, and, I kind of wanted that almost between Niall and Quinn, that kind of, like, big brother, little brother, kind of picking on each other kind of stuff and driving each other crazy and just saying things to get under the other person's, skin. And it was so much fun. Yeah, the banter, it just came naturally. And maybe it's because that's how I've always been, like, with my siblings and with my friends. Like, I can be really quick-witted and just come up with things on the spot and just for a laugh, and I worked that into the story. The banter was so much fun.
One of my favorite bits is the like you said, between Niall and Harlequin, is the forest spirit bit. That made me laugh out loud. I was laughing
Yes.
so hard because I have a lot of sisters. I have, like, 7 sisters, and so there's a lot of banter, there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of nonsense. So I immediately, like, I picked up on that. I was like, "I totally see this happening in real life." I saw it all in my head. I was dying. I laughed out loud. My husband was like, "What is wrong with you?" I was like, "Just leave me alone. I'm enjoying this. Go away." So, yeah, the
The
banter
forest
was one of my favorite
guardian,
parts.
that was another character that I did not have planned at all. That came so much later in the story. So much, like, probably 6 books later, like 6 drafts later. I was I don't know what triggered it, but I was like, "It needs something else." Like, I'm never happy with it. Like, even now, I could go back and rewrite it and change things and add things and all that. I'm like, "Oh, I wish I had put this in there or something," you know? Um, but the Forest Guardian and adding the other guardians in, um, I'm so glad I did that. I'm so glad I added them. I think that even though they are rather small parts in the story, they are very impactful and make a significant difference in the outcome of the end of the story.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes. And it's not often you read a story with that type of spirit involvement either, and I thought that was such
Mhm.
a refreshing take when I was reading. It's like, "Oh, this is so great."
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
know I love that was one of the things loved about it because romantasy is such a big, genre right now. Um, and to see like little unique things like that sprinkled throughout is really fun.
Thank you. Thank you. I did not want it to be, because every story has already been written, right? Like, it's like that little clip that you watch, like, you're going to watch something that's already been seen, and then.
Yeah.
So every story has already been written and it inspires other stories. And so my fear was, like, I don't want people to think that this is a spin on ACOTAR. I want it to have the same vibes and feels that it could, but I want it to be a different story. And I tried very hard to stick to that. And yeah, I'm sure there's gonna be similarities because that's what inspired me to start it to begin with, but I didn't want it to be a retelling of that, and I worked very, very hard to not do that.
Yeah, I definitely thought that this was this story stands on its own. The characters stand on their own. I wasn't like, oh, this is a homage to
Yeah,
Akatar
thank
at
you.
all. Um, so we don't want to give too many spoilers away,
Mhm.
because obviously there's some big twists and turns here. Um, how did you navigate, dropping the little hints about Arya's past and, her family's death and how soon did you wanna get into those? Just how did that unfold?
I wanted it to be apparent that something was off from the beginning. So, like, when she's talking to Pyros, like, "For my birthday, can you please tell me a little bit more about my past? Tell me about my family." And he's like, "Oh, we're just going to leave the past in the past. Like, that's you don't need to worry about that. You're here now, right?" And always kind of blowing her off. Um,
I love that,
and
but
it
then he's like, "But also, if you feel weird, just come
exactly,
talk to me."
exactly. And
You're
she's
like,
like, "What? Like, what do you?"
What are you implying here? What? Yeah.
And everybody everybody hates Pyros from the get-go. Like, everybody hates Pyros from the get-go, and William did such a good job playing him and carrying that narcissism and that like, I'm better than everyone else, right? Like, he did
Yeah,
such a good job portraying that. As soon as I heard the first line, I was like, "F this
that's
guy. I
it.
don't like him." I'm like, "I know I wrote him, but I still don't like
I
him,"
wrote
right?
you, still hate you.
Exactly. And so in the original drafts, I had a whole lot more in the beginning that Pyros was dropping a whole lot more hints. It was so much more obvious. And I was like, that's just too on the nose. Like, I don't like
Yeah,
this. And so I went back and revamped it. And so um I wanted people to suspect that there was something unique about Aria without outright saying it and without just putting it early. I wanted people to wonder, like, is this happening, or am I crazy? Is it coincidental?
yeah,
Things like that. And so once we got to the scene where she's sitting by the lake and or the pond and things start to happen, um, when I got to that scene, I was like, I think this is the moment to go ahead and reveal something's up. It still doesn't have all the answers, but something's up. And Arya's the main character, right? She's the main female character. And so I didn't want it to happen so soon that people lost interest in her. And but I also didn't want them to have to wait till the very end of the book to know that something was happening. And so even once it's revealed what's going on with her, I tried to keep that part of her growing. And we find out more things about it and more things about her past and um the growth of trying to not say certain things, the just the development of what's happening to her, to try and keep that growing,
yeah.
even though people already know at a certain point this is happening to her, but the why is what I hung on to.
One, I think my absolute favorite thing about this book and about your writing, when you read so many romance books, you read so many romanticy things, you have an idea of what's going to happen. So you're reading it and you're like, "Oh, I can see where this is going." No, I could not.
I
Every
didn't at
time
all.
I
It
thought I knew
was
what was going on, something changed and I was like, "What?" And it was like literally that's why I binged this book so quickly because I was like, that's not what I thought. And then I go, "Okay, well this is where it's going now." Nope, nope. We're going to go back this way and it is the best part of this book. Like you literally
Yeah.
have no clue and then there's like little drops here and there and you're like, "Okay, I think this is where." Nope. You don't. You have no idea. And I love, I think one of the really cool things is that we learn this kind of with Quinn. Like, this is a bargaining chip. And then as he realizes, like, hey, I think I bit off a lot more than I can chew here. It's like we're also finding out about Arya and her past and everything. And it's
Mhm.
really fun to watch that dynamic change.
Yeah.
Because I think it brings into question, like, does he like her? Is she a pawn? Like it
Mhm.
kind of helps drive that part of the book too.
Yeah. And Quinn's struggle, like, he obviously has a past, as well. He got some daddy issues going on himself. Um, and, everything that happened with his mom and all this stuff. And so he's he's very closed off. Like, he's built this wall and he's like, this is here, this is who I am. I'm going to protect myself. I'm not going to fall for any of this. And then he meets Arya and he's like, "Oh shit." Right? Like, like this is not what I was expecting. And seeing his growth as well and watching his walls slowly start to crumble to
Mhm.
see who he truly is, like the whole like wearing a mask thing is and not physically, he doesn't actually have a mask,
Yeah.
but just has a mask so that he doesn't want anybody else to see who he could truly be, um is is so relatable. And I love watching that mask slowly slipping out of place. And then there's the moments where he's like, "Oh, oh, it shifted. I gotta put it back." And it pisses you off because you're like, "Oh, you were almost there. Like
Yep.
just be there already." And but I wanted that tension. Like I wouldn't call this a slow burn, but it is definitely a slow sexual tension because the attraction there is pretty fast, but the truly acting upon it and giving into it kind of stuff takes a while to happen. But
Yeah.
I never used the term slow burn, but I did get a 1-star review when this first came out.
What?
And yeah, I did. I got a 1-star. She read 30 something pages, I think, and DNF'd it.
Okay, I
And
hate that
Don't leave
so
reviews if
much.
you don't
Don't. If you
finish it.
don't, you need to
exactly.
read 75% of the damn book before you leave a review. That should be a requirement. Shouldn't even allow them to write something.
was
Ugh.
I was so sad at first, but I was like, "You know what?" Like, it made me go, "Okay, the book is no longer in hands of friends and family." Right? Those are gonna be your
Yeah.
first supporters, and everything's gonna be like, "Oh, it's so good, and it's raining, and da 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 da, and it's so beautiful." And then I get that, which I don't think it deserved that, but I was like, "Whatever." But it just made me go, "Oh my gosh, I'm past the line now where other people are getting this and leaving reviews without me having to be like, 'Hey, can you check this out?' And, leave me a review if you can. If there's something you didn't like, please contact me." Because that I'm a big advocate. Even if I hate a book, I will not leave a bad review for it. I will still like give it, 4 stars and be like, "Hey, this is what happens in the story. It wasn't my favorite, but I still enjoyed reading it. Here's this." And then I will personally message whoever told me to read that book, if it's another author or whatever, and tell them, "Here's what I think you could work on," or "Here's what I think was lacking," or whatever. Because just bashing someone on social media without giving it a true chance, like,
Ugh.
does not help them, especially as indie authors. Our reviews are everything. Our
Yeah.
reviews are everything.
Don't leave.
Ugh.
So
If you don't like it, if it's not for you, you're not the audience. Don't leave a review.
Yeah.
exactly.
Put it down and go find something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Ugh, sorry.
she did
That
compare
just
it to
irks me.
Akatar. She said that Quinn was pretty much a ripoff of Reese. She
No.
said yeah,
Not at
she said
all.
it was advertised as slow burn and it wasn't slow burn, and I was like, "Well, I never advertised it as slow burn, but that's okay." I don't know
She
if
only
maybe
read 30
somebody told her.
pages. Hmm.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah,
your
yeah, but
opinion's
that's
no
okay.
longer valid.
I I appreciate her review, and it has helped me accept some other harsh reviews that weren't ones. They would be like 3 or even a 3.5 or something like that, where they weren't outright ugly or bashing the book, but it was like, "Here's some things that I struggled with." And I'm like, "Okay, I appreciate that." So I got my first hard, like painful review out of the way. I might even frame it. I don't know. I might put it up on the wall or something. That's like your first dollar, right? And so
Yep.
I appreciate her review. I appreciate her taking the time to even get the book and give it a shot because that helps me too. And if it wasn't for her, that's all right. And I've grown from it, and it helped me develop a little bit thicker skin. I don't let
Mhm.
it hurt me anymore, you know.
A
That's
friend,
good. That's key.
another author we talked to, WB Clark, she said she had an interesting take on it. She had a 2-star review, and she's like, "I officially have become an author. I now have a bad review." So that, and
Yeah.
she was talking about that, making it a light topic, but calling out like that person didn't read all of her book either. they just
Mhm.
they just put, I think
And
they
I
only
think
read like 10 pages, or not even that far. They didn't
Yeah.
get very far at all.
oh, wow. And
Yeah, it
left
was
how do you
not like it
How do you
wasn't
leave
very
a re
far
like, how
review.
can you even write a review?
yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't
Because
very
no
far at
one's even
all. I
right.
know, I
Other
because
than, I am an
her book is
unhappy
pretty thick.
person, and I'm gonna take it out on these 10 pages that I read.
I could be getting the page.
Exactly.
I'm probably getting the page count. I just know it wasn't very much. Like it was very little. And then they put 2 stars up there. I was like, really? And didn't say
Yeah.
anything. Just put 2 stars. DNF 2 stars. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
So,
I had another review where I actually met the girl that she came and bought
oh,
it at a book event that I was at. And she follows me on my socials and I followed her and everything else. And she left a review that wasn't very shining. It wasn't It wasn't the 1-star review, but it definitely I was kinda like, "Aw," like, it made me a little bit sad, but I messaged her and I was like, "Hey, I saw your review. I want you to know I appreciate you supporting me first and foremost by coming out and trusting me and meeting me and actually buying the book from me." And it was signed and everything for her. Um, and I appreciate what you have to say about it. I'm sorry it wasn't for you, but I'm so glad that I got to meet you, and I'm so glad that we're still friends on here, and I look forward to your reviews on other books. And I'm gonna take what you said and try to grow as an author from that. And we're still friends. And so I've seen some people who they see a bad review and they're like, "Oh, you think so?" Da, 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 da," and they start going off, right? And you have to walk that line of professionalism. And so that's what I did with her. I was like, "You know what? I'm not gonna let this hurt. Like, it stings a little, but I'm not gonna let it bring me down." And she took a chance on me. Just because it wasn't for her doesn't mean it was bad. It just wasn't her cup of tea, and that's okay. And I wanted her to know that when I saw the review. So,
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's nice that you can take that and be like, "Okay, you're still a decent person, like,
mhm.
I'm not gonna hate you, fine."
Yeah. No, and she's very, very sweet. She really is.
Well, feedback
Just
is
wasn't her thing.
important because if you don't
Yeah.
know what other people are thinking and what could be worked on, you can't improve on it later. So feedback is important. I'm not hating on all reviews or anything like that. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
make it make a little sense if the review you give. Don't just
Yeah. If you're
Yeah,
uh
and
gonna
there's a
if
way.
you're
There's a way that you can
yeah.
do it
be
without
Yeah.
it.
tactful and, like, if it's not for you, then cool. But then if you feel the need to leave a review, talk about the writing style, talk about the
Mhm,
character development then. Like, if the story itself is not resonating, look at the, like, elements of it.
mhm, for sure.
Speaking of all this, what is your biggest takeaway your readers want from your book? What do you want them to take away after they read it?
So, I'm hoping that they walk away feeling stronger for it and maybe feeling less alone, being able to relate with the fact that, like, they aren't the only person going through some things. And because like with Aria and everything that she endures as she goes throughout the book, she becomes stronger for it. And I wanted this to be an opportunity to show people, like, I know it's fiction, but I think it can apply to real life, that just because you have all these things going on, that doesn't define you. It doesn't define who you are. And you may not know who you are right now, but you can find out. And don't be afraid to take that step to do it. And don't let anybody else tell you that you can't. Be your own person, be strong, let your light shine, and don't ever let anyone dim that light, because we already dim our own lights. We don't need people helping do that.
Yeah. We're all really good
A-
at doing that to ourselves.
Amen. That needs to be on a poster. That needs to be that whole sentence, like that whole line. That was really wow. I got chills. Ugh. That
Oh,
was good.
I love that because
Uh,
it just makes me think of Arya and, like, everything that she goes through in this book, and boy
This
so
is so
this
tough.
book, I feel like if you wanna compare it to ACOTAR, I feel like it's, like, 3 ACOTAR books in 1 book with, like, how much they go through, and I mean that in the best way possible. I was not bored for a single second. I was,
thank
like,
you.
immediately turning the pages and everything. Um But she goes through so much and she starts off, I think it's something I relate to having a guardian or parental figure that's like, "Nope, you're gonna do this my way. I'm in charge." And you follow the rules for this life that like you think you should have or that expectation tells you you should have.
Yeah,
And then you realize and you change and you find out who you are, and by embracing that she starts to become this new person, and she meets these people like Quinn along the way that help uncover more of who she is, and she becomes more kind of strong in her own character and her own flaws and strengths. And it's a really fun thing to watch unfold.
thank you. Thank you. And
Now,
she does.
selfish
She goes through a
Go
lot.
She
boy,
does.
she really does.
She
I put her
does.
through
Really,
the
really
ringer. People
does.
were like, "Do you hate Aria?" I was like, "No, I don't hate her. Of course not." But it's like she
But
goes through it.
There were
but you have
times with
to
this
have
book where I
trials.
cried. You
Mhm,
do. Absolutely. I mean, that's life
mhm.
in general. Whether it's something horrific or like whatever it is, we all go through things and we all have certain things that are the hardest things that we will go through in our life. Like everyone has that. Um, but I just love the way, you know, she unfolds and becomes this like strong version of herself through all of this stuff. And there were points where I cried. I was like really sad. And then it was like, no, there's, you get attached to people
Mhm.
Yeah,
and then things happen and it's
I
really
know.
sad. And then like, but
Sorry.
then other things, it goes on and life goes on. And then I don't want to give too much away, but like people from your past still influence your present, like,
Yeah,
in different
Yeah.
ways, I
that
guess I
was a
can say.
great way. Well done.
I
That was
was
a
like, "How can I say this
that
without
was
giving
very
too much
good without
away?"
ruining anything. That was very
Yeah,
good.
but, like, you keep them with you. They still I don't know why it's making me think of Wicked right now, but, like, the For Good song, "Because I Knew You, I've Been Changed for Good," and it's that kind of vibe. It's like,
Mhm.
I you may not be near me, you may not be with me, you may not be with us, like, you could be anywhere, but, like, I carry your fingerprint with me as I move forward.
Right, right. And, I think it was something I really tried to focus on with Aria was as she's going through everything and beginning to change, she never loses who she is. She still
Yeah.
holds on to Aria. And, some people, they're like, you've changed. And it's like, yeah, people have changed, right? That's what we do. But sometimes people change in a way that you don't recognize them anymore. And I didn't want that to happen with Aria. I wanted that growth. I wanted that development. I wanted her strength to really shine through. But during all of it, during everything she endures, I didn't want to lose her. And I
Yeah.
worked really hard to keep Aria inside of Aria.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can see that throughout. I mean, I guess that, like, an analogy I would use is like a candlestick or something. It's got tarnish on the outside. People are throwing things at her and expectations, and it's still there. The
Hmm.
shininess, the silver is still there. She's still there. And as you go through the story, it just polishes and that
Yeah.
becomes more evident. Like she's always been this person and it's starting to just shine through more.
Thank you. That's what I was going for.
Yeah. Well, so selfishly, because I devoured this book, do you have any idea when the next one will be? I'm asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend. Okay, noted. Noted. So I'm working on book 2. Um, I mentioned earlier there's been a lot of things going on, and
Yeah.
so I did have to kind of close the laptop and put it to the side for a little while. The dust is starting to settle. Things are still a little crazy, but the dust is starting to settle, and so I'm hoping to dive back into it really soon. I had wanted book 2 out this March. That was my original goal to kind of have a year in between books. And that did not happen. I'm about halfway through book 2 and my goal is by September. I want it much sooner, but by September is when I'd like to have book 2 out.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, keep us posted because we will want
Of
you back to
course.
talk about book 2 for sure.
Of course. Yeah,
I know
William's
I'm gonna be
chomping at the
following that
bit.
date, like,
He's ready to
I
start book 2.
we all I'm sure, like, I know how I feel about it. I'm like, "You just tell me what date, and I will buy it at midnight that day." So,
Yeah,
I can only
But also
imagine.
but also your zombie book too. I would like to read that as well because that sounds like it's gonna be a good
Yeah, that
time.
does sound really cool.
that one's really good. I don't really have a working title for it yet. I was calling it O virus for the virus, which it's all set in Brazil. A lot of stuff goes down and it takes place in Brazil. And it follows this girl who is in a pretty bad relationship, and things go south, and he ended up booking a trip to Brazil for him and her, um, originally as like a honeymoon gift, like he or not a honeymoon gift, but a engagement gift, because he was going to propose to her, but then he did something terrible, and now she's kind of lost on, do I stay with this guy or whatever? And so he's like, why don't you just go on this trip yourself? I'll stay here. You take the time you need to kind of figure out what you want to do, right? And so she goes on the trip, and she ends up in Brazil. And then there had been a zombie epidemic years prior, and people are still starting to kind of heal from that. The world's coming back together. And in Brazil, there is a facility that is still kind of working with bioweapons and all the things kind of going on there that nobody really knows about. So she goes on this trip, and our main male character gets hired to actually kidnap her. He's a masonry. No, that's not it. What's the word? Oh my god,
M
Oh,
mercenary.
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 Thank you. I was like, it ain't masonry. A
Yeah.
mercenary. And so he gets hired and is supposed to kidnap her and actually deliver her to this facility where everything's going on. And you don't know in the beginning why these people want her in particular, but there are reasons. And he
I want the
accidentally
book.
gets made,
I don't
right? So he gets
I saw
there.
sold.
why.
Do what?
Sold. I want the book.
She already wants the book.
You're
Oh, so,
yeah,
well,
I'll take
so
2 copies.
so he gets there, and he's got his best friend that's like his computer nerd geek guy, this kid that kind of like sticks with him. The main character's name is Brody, the main guy. And then he has the young guy that's with him that he looks at like a younger brother, and is always just trying to protect him and keep him out of the fold of what he does. Like, you stick here, you work on computers, you do all the digging, I'll come back and I'll feed you, right? Like that kind of stuff. And and so he's following the main female character around, and he lets his guard down because they tell him like, hey, we're not ready for her, you're gonna have to kind of ride this out for a week. And he's like, what the heck? And she walks up on him and starts talking to him because she's this naive little girl who's visiting another country, and she sees a guy that looks like he might be American, and she doesn't know how to speak the language, and starts talking to him, and he's like, oh shit, this was not supposed to happen. And then things start to develop from there, and keep your enemies closer kind of thing. And that's the way he's looking at it, and starts to fall for her, and she has
Oh,
no
this
idea
sounds
who he
amazing.
actually is. Then he
He
gets
falls
torn
first.
between, okay,
Oh,
do I protect this woman who is clearly innocent? Like, what is this bullshit story that they gave me?
Yeah.
Or do I go through with it because his whole focus is saving enough money to get out of the business to protect his child and be able to that is
ooh.
like way over here, right? And so he wants to get out of the business, and this is the job. They're paying him something stupid to do this, and this is his opportunity to get out of it and protect himself and the family that he doesn't have anymore, but still loves and takes care of and provides for. And now he's torn on what to do.
God.
So when is this
Yep,
coming
that
out?
sounds
When is this
freaking
book coming
amazing.
out?
I gotta
When
go back to
wh
it. My well, I guess still husband, but we're yeah, I mentioned we were separated. Um, he loved it. Like, he was not a fan of this book in particular. Like, it wasn't that he wasn't a fan, it just wasn't his jam. It's not his vibe, right? But when I was writing the other one, he was like, "This is so good," and he would make me read it every time I was finishing a chapter. And he was like, "I can't believe you put that one down." I was like, "Look, when inspiration calls, like, you just got to do it." And that's why I went to that one. But I do want to go back to that story. It's a fun one. I know exactly where it's going in my head. And again, a lot of twists and turns, and you think you've got it figured out, and then you don't. Like, that is that story too, but on a whole different level.
Sounds like it.
your stories are almost like
Those are my favorite
fantasy
books.
your stories are almost like fantasy
Say that again?
thriller, almost.
Oh, yes,
Fantasy
yes.
thrillers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how you said his, like, computer geek, because this is, like, my life goal. He just gets to sit and do his thing, and then the guy comes back to feed him. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go tell my husband that, be like, "I just wanna work upstairs on my computer all day, do my thing, not have human interaction. If you just bring me snacks every once in a while."
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, he's a fun character. He is very young. He's very just like playing video games, being snarky, sarcastic. There's this whole scene where Brody forgets to turn off his little mic when he's talking to her, and so the other guy hears everything that he says, and it was a rather romantic moment for them. And so when he comes in,
Oh my
he
gosh.
can't find his friend, and then his friend comes walking out with like a mop head on his head and some melons in his shirt, and he's like, "Oh, Brody," like, 'cause
I
he's
love
heard
that
the whole
song.
thing.
My god, yes.
So,
Yes.
that's the kind
Oh,
of
please,
character he
please
is.
let us know. Oh
Please.
god.
Yes. Oh, that is beautiful. I mean, that's the kind of person I would be. So,
Absolutely.
I respect it. I respect it so much. And I met my husband, we were, like, 20, and we got married at 23. We got married super young, and that reminds me so much of his friends, like, the immaturity, and they're
Yeah,
like, "Oh, he's got a girlfriend."
it's
Like,
super cute. It's super funny. Their
it's
relationship's
fun.
great. Like, it's really good.
I
I
love
really like
that.
it.
Oh,
But
are
anyway, this
you
was about A Fate
are
of Shadows and Flames. My bad.
yeah.
Well, we do both. Yeah,
But
hey.
hey, well, both
Check
books.
out
We're
check
we're
out
sold on
all of the
both.
books.
Anything she writes, go find her books. Anything
Thank
she
Sweet.
you.
writes.
Just go get it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Speaking of that though, on anything that she writes, are you going to any new book events the rest of this year, or are you gonna hold off?
I am. I actually have a lot lined up. In
Okay.
April, I will be in Shreveport, Louisiana at the Gatsby Undead event. They reached out to me during the Dreamers and Readers fiasco and were like,
Yes.
"Hey, we would love to have you." They didn't charge me a table fee. Here's some hotels where
Yeah.
you could save money, and so I'm going to be doing that one. That's going to be cool
Yay.
because it's very 20s themed. It's horror,
How
like it's going to be
fun.
fun. Uh,
PB Squamer's gonna be
and
there
then
too.
who?
PB Squamer, I don't know if you follow him, but he's a big book
I
talk
actually did not know
influencer.
PB was gonna be there.
Yeah, I believe so. He got invited to that. I
Nice.
think I saw him. Yeah, he's going to be there. Should definitely be like, here's my book. Da, 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 da.
And be like,
So,
"Oh." Well, I gave my book to Stephen Walker, um,
yeah.
when I met him at a
Good.
Court of Villains ball last year, and they had it up on the podcast and everything for a little bit and kind of gave it a little
Yay.
shout out and stuff, so that was pretty cool. And then
Yeah.
I just saw him obviously at Rewritten. Um,
He's so
Yeah,
nice.
Jordan
then
met him.
do what?
I met him. I was trying very hard to be cool because it was kind of a fangirl moment. And I was like, just be professional, be calm. So
He's
we
so
chatted
Be
for a little
tall.
be
bit.
cool, man. Be cool.
Be cool, be cool. He's so cool, and he's very tall. I knew he was tall,
He's, like,
like, he talks
really
about it and you
tall.
see it, but in person, it's quite different. So he's quite tall, and
I
he's
know,
so
you
It
sent me the
is.
nice.
picture of you 2, and I was like, "My god, he's so tall."
So the first time I met him, I went up to him and I was just like, "Hey, I talked to you, told you that I had a book for you. I just wanted to make sure," because everybody was all over him, right? And so
Yeah.
I
Right,
didn't want
yeah,
to
he
be the
really
person that was just like on top of him like everybody else was. And so I was like, "Here's my book." And he's like, "Well, wait, let's record a video and let's do this, let's do that." And I'm like, "Okay." But he was so tall and I was so short that he got down on his knees it's like to stand next to me, and he was like still like taller than me, and I was just like, what is happening? Like, this is crazy. And so I started to squat down, and he's like, what are you doing? No, you don't squat down. I squat down because then it defeats the purpose. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm panicking. Like, I didn't know what to do. And so
I don't know.
what do I do? Like, was freaking
Either my
was
I,
really
good.
cute. The
Oh my god.
video was
That's
great.
so funny.
The
I
picture
wish I
was
would've
great.
He
It was so
recorded
fun.
it.
And
My older sister is used to be friends with, Christian Narn, who played Hodor in Game of Thrones.
uh-huh.
And I freaking loved Game of Thrones, and she video chatted me one day at night. She was in downtown Indianapolis, and Christian Narn was there, and she just turned the phone around, and it was him, and she didn't tell me that that was gonna happen, and I was the biggest moron I've ever been in my life. Like, all I could get out was like, like, I think I died. And then I was like, I love you. And that was like all I could say. And I was like, yep, this is really good. Good job.
Nice to meet you.
Like,
I am
don't mind
thankful I
me.
did
I'm
not
just
do that with
feral.
Walker, with Steven. I'm so glad I didn't do that. I had time to prepare because I was talking to other vendors and stuff, and they were like seeing Stephen Walker. It was like right at the beginning, before technically it started. So I was talking to Hallway of Doom and the Gilded Girls. I was talking to them. They were right
Yeah.
there. And to Rewritten, because I was volunteering, so I was checking in with them too. And we were all like, so I want to go talk to Steven. And they're like, yeah, we do too. So we were trying to figure out like, okay, we need to be calm. We need to be cool. Let's not be weird. Because I had
And
a
scene.
moment to kind of like, okay,
Well, that's
okay.
good.
So I walked over and talked to him. So I had a moment. I had warning. I had prep. So you did not have prep. So there was that. So I'm
No, my
thankful for the
brain
prep
just
time, because I'm pretty
buffered.
sure it would have been like blah
I
blah blah blah.
I love
I was
that you're
so
literally like
awkward.
plotting it out with everyone. Like, okay, so here's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna walk over
Yeah,
there and we're
yeah.
gonna be super chill. We're gonna be super chill.
We're very
Like
chill.
we can't get
Yeah.
crazy.
Remember how cool we're cool. Like,
At least you
He
didn't have a
followed the
Leroy
podcast
Jenkins
while I
moment,
talked to him.
right? Like where
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
your
yeah.
friends went crazy or something. Like you're like, okay, here's what we're gonna do, and you're plotting it out, and then all of a sudden you have Leroy Jenkins, and you have that one friend that's like,
I would be that friend. I am not cool in situations like that at all.
you're
I am
Leroy Jenkins. Got
I
it.
am. I'm a normal human being, but legitimately, my brain, it was like, just, when the news station goes off and there's that tone, that was what happened in my brain. And he stared at me like I had 5 heads. And he was like, okay. And then he handed the phone back to my sister. And I was like,
She
I
could have
know.
at least given you a warning, a
You're like,
little
There
warning.
was none. She literally
Little.
just turned it around and he was right there. And he like took the phone and was like, what's up? And he's got this like really thick Irish accent. It was not
Would have
my
come
proudest
undone. It's
moment.
okay. I would have just like melted
I
right
am
there on the floor. Game over.
so
Where's Bree?
awkward. I was like, I'm sorry. I am a functioning human. I do know how to adult. It didn't happen at
Despite
that
what you
moment.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Well, back to what we were talking about with starting with PB there. Like, okay, I'm excited to
Yeah.
meet him. So I'm doing Gatsby. And then May, June, I have an author cruise that I'm supposed to go on over the
That's
summer.
fun.
Ooh.
And then June 6th,
Go on a
we have a
cruise.
Dance of Wings and Whispers here in Texas that I'm going to be at. Steven's going to be at that one. Rob Moretta is also going to be there. Y'all know who Rob is? Rob Moretta?
I feel like I do. Yes?
He
Yeah,
plays
yeah.
he plays Riddick in the graphic audio of Fourth Wing.
Yes. That's yeah. Yep. That's
God,
right.
Yeah,
I
he
saw him
love
posted on there.
Riddick.
he's amazing.
Isn't it in
He's going to
Belton?
be there. He's huh?
Is it in Belton? This Wings and
Yes,
Whispers?
Belton, Texas. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm
Just get
debating
all the
about
fun
going because it's
stuff.
there's been a lot of
Please
fun stuff in
do.
Texas. I
Tell
will
us to get
try.
all the
I'm
fun
trying to
stuff.
figure it out.
Seriously.
It's just because Texas is so big. Like it's
It
just
is.
so
But
big. There's so many people here. That's the only reason
There's
that it
no one
happens
in New
that way.
Hampshire. Nobody's here.
Oh,
We have,
yeah,
I think, like
no,
the smallest
he's
population.
come to
but-
Texas. I'm telling you to come to the Book Boyfriend Bash.
Yep.
You need to come to the Book Boyfriend Bash.
I'm going to book Boyfriend Bash. I will be there for that one too.
We're
I'm going
influencers.
Jordan
to
is going.
do
I am.
Rebels and Realms. Obviously,
Yeah.
we're doing Rebels and Realms.
Yeah.
Then I'll be at Tea and Tropes. Just kidding. I will be at Tea and Tropes, but not as an author. I'm just attending that one.
Okay.
That's June, July, August. I will have Book Boyfriend Bash, and then I'm going to Sinners and Stardust with
Oh,
with Ivan Morea and Danny Starro. They are narrators that are just absolutely amazing. And if you're not following them, you need to, because they are incredibly talented and do amazing books. Shout out to Danny and Ivan. And so I'm going as their PA actually to help them at that event. And then
That's awesome.
I have
that's awesome.
there's 2 more. I just can't think of them off the Blood Moon Masquerade, and that one's in October. And then there's one more in November with House of Pen. I just can't remember the name of the event. So I
Yeah.
have a lot coming
Wow,
up.
that's a lot.
You have a
Yeah.
lot. That is a
Well,
lot.
I will see you at Book Boyfriend Bash for sure, because we're gonna be
Okay,
going
good.
there.
I might be going.
Influencers. It's so weird calling us that, but we're influencers there.
I know,
So
right?
we'll be there.
I think that's awesome, by the way. No, definitely. I'm excited about that one. My friend Alexiana is coming with me as my PA, so she's going to be there to help out. And then Blood Moon Masquerade, that's another one I'm really looking forward to. I've been working with Jenna personally on that one and helped her book the narrators, because that's a side gig that I actually have. Is I help narrators book events and stuff at conventions. And so
That's cool.
we have Danny going, we have Rob going. Henry Kramer is also going, the voice of Tamlin in ACOTAR, and
I mean, good.
then another.
Talented, but Tamlin.
No, and that's one thing I will defend
He's
to my
good.
core, and I'm not defending against you. I'm just saying so many people struggle to separate the narrator, the voice actor,
No,
from
yeah,
the
he's
character.
great.
And William is honestly, I mean, William, I know I'm stuck on my narrator. Henry is actually super amazing, super talented. And he is one of the nicest guys. Like, he does like this little cooking with Tamlin thing on TikTok if you follow him, and he'll like
Okay, well,
That's
I have
cook
amazing.
to go look at
meals,
that
and he's
now.
adorable. I love him. And he has been an amazing friend. Like he messaged me yesterday checking on me with everything that was going on. And so he is the sweetest guy, absolutely loves his wife, absolutely loves his assistant, Kristen, and just a wonderful guy. I'm so excited because I actually have not got to meet him face to face yet. I'll get to meet him at Rebels for the first time. So I'm very excited.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Yay.
That's really cool. Get to meet
So
all these
yeah,
cool people.
so
I need to
lots
go
of
to. I need to
events,
go to
lots of
events.
events this year.
That's really good.
It's exciting.
That's good that you're gonna go to all these. Go out, meet her, get the book.
Thank you.
Trust me.
Events are important as an indie author.
Follow her.
The
Yeah.
networking is so important because you can do everything you want on social media, like that's great and everything. But it's harder to reach people on a personal level there. Whereas when you go to these events, they actually get to meet you and they get to know you and they get to see your face, and it becomes
Yeah.
more personable, and that helps them talk about you to someone else, and
Yeah.
it really advances that networking.
We were talking about that
That's
yesterday.
what
We
I'm
had
learning. Yeah.
Anna Hawthorne on the podcast, and she was talking about like trad publishing versus indie publishing and how the indie world, it's like people are so supportive of each other. It's not necessarily this dog eat dog world that trad publishing can be,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like, hey, if you like my stuff, you might like this author too. And there's this like
Yes.
vibe of bringing each other up, which I just love anyway. But I mean, the book community is fantastic in that sense. Like authors, narrators, it doesn't matter. Like if you like certain things that
Exactly.
somebody does,
Exactly.
they
No,
probably are like,
we all
well,
have each
check
other's
out
backs. We don't have a big
XYZ.
team helping us, right? We don't have a marketing team. We don't have a publishing team. We don't have any of those things. And so when we have other people that are willing to step up and help us with certain things, or just talk about us to other people, post some social media videos about us, like that is so important and so helpful and so appreciated, because it's a lot to do on our own. We'll do it, but it is so much. Adding that to real life, right? Adding it to being a
Yeah,
mom and
I
having a
can only
job and
imagine.
doing all those things. Like it's a lot.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
We
that's
feel
like
you.
one of the most important things for people to realize is that most authors have day jobs and like families,
It's
and it's not just
It's
writing.
hard.
Like I don't even know how you
We
balance
I
all
take
of that. And
advantage
like
of every quiet moment that I
I
might get, so maybe I'll stay
ugh.
up too late.
I mean the amount of
Or the baby's down
coffee.
for a nap, okay, like, so.
Yeah. God, yes.
Oh, no, that is an
Yep.
old wives'
There's no
tale,
sleeping
that
when the
rumor.
baby sleeps. That's not a thing.
Sleep when a baby sleeps. Oh,
It's a lie. That is a lie.
you got jokes. Dad
Okay.
sleeps when baby sleeps.
That's cute. Dad must have said that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true. That is
Yeah.
true.
Dad
Dads sleep
sleeps
in
when baby
general.
doesn't sleep too. I
Yeah.
literally, my youngest is 5 and she was knocking on her bedroom door at like 1 a.m. and I was punching my husband and I was like, I've done it the last
I get it.
17 times. Your turn.
Or they just stand there by your bed and you don't hear them, and
Yes.
then you just kind of
Yes.
wake up
I've
and they're
almost
God,
right
how
done it to
there.
my own
terrifying is that?
child
And there's
so
a
many
face
times
right there.
unintentionally. Like he's a
You
tiny
just lose like
football.
5 years of your
Like
life.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
exactly.
Like, you have got to make a noise. Like,
Or
I'm gonna
opening
put
the
a bell on
fridge
your
and
neck.
closing the fridge and then
What is
suddenly they're
this?
right there on the other side of
Yeah,
the door.
they're
Uh,
quiet.
no thank you. In the dark.
Yes.
Mhm.
They're like, what are you eating?
Yes.
It's like a scene out of a horror movie. You're like, where did you
And there's
appear?
no
How did you get
preparation
here?
for it. Like
What?
at least in a horror movie, they have the
Yes, you
sound
need
and the
something?
music, and it's
God,
like,
it's
oh,
so
something's
accurate.
coming, something's
They're
coming.
like,
No, not in real life. You don't get that warning music. You open the door, you shut the door, they're
something's
there,
gonna
and then you
happen.
die a little inside for a second. Like that's just
Uh-huh.
You die a little bit inside, and if you're anything like me, you're like,
exactly.
I've had 2
Girl, I have
children. Do not scare
4.
me like
I
this. I
have
cannot
4.
keep
The
washing
laundry's
laundry.
never ending, and I never have groceries. I live at the grocery store. Like,
God, yeah.
Mhm.
I know. I feel like that. You're just like, I go. My husband and I joke about it all the time. Our oldest has special needs, and they came out to get her registered so my husband could stay home and get paid. And they had this questionnaire, and it was like, does she have black lung? And I am really bad about reading the room. So like I make offhanded comments, and I was like, well, no, Chris won't let me send her to the mines yet, but like keep trying. Freeloaders.
hilarious.
Go get a real
No,
job.
my kids will always ask me, they're like, what's for dinner? What's for dinner? What's for dinner? And I'm like,
We laughed so
freaking
hard.
ramen. Like it's ramen tonight, y'all. Like I can't afford to keep feeding y'all the way that you eat. Are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
exactly. Go. Here's a gallon of
Just
milk.
pour some
Fight over
cereal
it.
on the floor. Have at it, wild things.
There you go.
Like, "Ah."
Gladiator style.
For
Just
legal
clean up after
purposes, I'm a really
yourselves.
good mom. Please don't call CPS.
I don't want to
promise.
clean.
God, for real. Like,
Oh, yes, yeah.
same.
We're good moms. This is just
Same.
mom life.
They're very much alive
If
and well.
anybody's that
This is
watches this
my
as a parent, you understand. You understand.
so yes, absolutely. I've got so many shticks. Like my oldest daughter has a super rare genetic condition, so she has special needs, and she's missing
Oh wow.
115 genes. So it's like a chromosomal thing. And my husband is like, you cannot keep saying this to people, but my best friend was like, keep saying this because this is how you'll know you found a true friend. Because my thing is, she was my first, she was a DIY, there was some parts left over, but it functions. You know?
I remember you saying that to me, and I died
Try my
laughing.
best. My
I think
husband was
that's
like, oh my
hilarious.
God, could you stop? And my best
sometimes,
friend was like,
you
that
know,
is effing hilarious.
to deal with like the heavy of
I was
all
like,
that,
you know
right?
what?
My
I did
oldest
the
is type
best
1
I
diabetic,
could.
and she was just in February she was in the PQ
Yeah.
for a
You
week.
get it.
It
Yep.
was like it was bad. And so to deal with the heavy of all
Mhm.
that and just that smothering emotion that just consumes you when you're going through those things, making light of it helps. Making jokes about it
Yep.
helps. Even she does it. She'll do it about she'll make jokes about how her
Yeah. I could
pancreas is
cry
like
or I
just
could laugh.
living rent free in her body because it's not doing what it's supposed to do. And like she just makes all these little things about her illness. And it's a way for her, it's a coping mechanism, right? It's a coping mechanism. And it's the same for us when we crack jokes about our kids, like, oh, they're getting a NyQuil bottle tonight. Like, that's just for us. That's for us.
You joke about it, but then you're also like, if somebody takes this seriously, it's bold of you to assume that A, I have my stuff together enough to
Exactly.
have NyQuil, and B, know where it is.
Exactly.
They're
Yeah.
not
I
getting
was looking
anything.
for it
They
yesterday,
can't
and I
even
was like,
get
where the hell's
Tylenol
the
when they need
Tylenol?
it because I
Like, I
can't
couldn't
find
find it.
it.
Yeah. It's always when you need it too. You know
It's
you bought
never
it.
there when you
Like,
need
you
it.
know you bought it. You know you bought
Exactly.
it, but you can't find it because in the moment you really need it. Happens all the time. You need something, you can't find it. Don't need it.
Exactly.
There
Can't
it is.
find
Like,
it.
where were you yesterday? Yeah. annoying as
Yep.
all get out.
Thank you. It has. This
It
is,
is.
This
Yeah,
it
has
was
been
do.
something
so
I
You
didn't
fun
laughed
know I
yourself
though.
from
needed.
crying. This is so
Like,
fun.
not even as a professional, but just hanging out with some girls that get it, that I can relate
Yay.
to, and it's been so much fun. I've really enjoyed the laughter.
Mhm.
I've enjoyed the more serious moments. You are both amazing.
Aw,
Aw,
thank you.
thanks. We have a lot
We're
of fun. I mean,
Unhinged sparkle.
we're
we're
very
I need
unhinged.
that
Like,
and
we're
sticker.
yeah, and
yeah.
unhinged sparkle. That's like our thing. So we're very much that.
Good.
Like, we don't yeah. We don't do
I'm
this
gonna
for,
make it
like,
into a sticker.
fame or
We're
anything.
figuring out things.
Yeah.
Is that too
We just
much to
wanna talk
ask?
about
Like,
books with
honestly.
people that like
Like,
books and write books and
Yeah.
right? And
exactly.
then at the end of the
Exactly.
day, I want everybody else to go away. Like, all I wanna do is talk about books.
Mm-hmm.
It is
And
so
if
a plus.
and if
Reaching
the
for the
books have
stars, dear.
spicy scenes, that's a plus.
I'm like, oh,
Wait,
what? This is
you read
closed
Mm-hmm.
books
door.
that don't
Okay,
have
now it's
spice in
closed
them?
book. Like, you're gonna put it over.
Same. I'm like, do you have any idea? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I deal with other stuff in
Preach,
my life.
sister.
Like, this is
Preach.
I need my spice.
I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Well,
I
thank y'all
know.
so much for having
We all
me,
need it.
truly. And I know that it's been
Like
kind of
ladies.
bouncing around with the schedule. I'm glad we were able to make it work. And this has
Thank
been
you for coming
a
on.
great way to start my morning. And I'm so glad y'all enjoyed the story.
Oh,
Yay!
good.
That makes me
Yay. I'm
happy.
glad.
This
I'm
is fun
glad.
for us.
Yes.
Oh
Oh
my
my
god,
gosh,
I
we
can't
love
wait
it.
for the
Absolutely. I
next one. Like,
promise I will.
seriously, let us know when you've got a date.
Mm-hmm.
We will have you on again.
We'll get the book. We'll get both books,
I'm
the
so
zombie one
excited.
too.
Yeah,
I
right?
promise I shall.
Keep us informed on everything you write. I would like to read everything you write.
Thank you for
Yes.
having me, guys.
Good. Thanks for
Well,
coming
Okay,
on.
bye.
thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.